Hey everybody, welcome to PBI Radio. It's Chris Guns. My guest today is up and coming, young, hot shot heavyweight from Philadelphia, Bryant Bye Jennings. Bryant's impressing a lot of people. Max Kellerman brought him up on Saturday's show as American heavyweights to watch. It was a list of 4 he shared with Deontay Wilder, Chris Arreola, and Seth Mitchell. So he's in some pretty good company. So let's go ahead and get Bryant Bye Jennings on the line and see where he thinks he is in his career right now. Bryant Bye Jennings, man, appreciate your time on PBI Radio. Thanks for being here, man.
You're welcome, anytime.
Tell me about Philadelphia. You're born and raised there. Tell me about your Philadelphia. What was it like growing up there?
I grew up in North Philly. It's one of the hardest parts in North Philadelphia. It's kind of like every man for themselves out here. You form your little groups, form your little group of people, stay together, make sure everybody, look out for each other. It's kind of hard, succeeding where we're from. Poverty, at its lowest point, almost. And, it's pretty much just like any other hood. And it's kind of hard. It's the ghetto.
Yeah. And tell me about your household. What was your house like growing up? Tell me.
I grew up in a 3-story home with 3 other siblings that, for the most part, my mom had 7 kids. My older brothers and sisters were they already moved out already. So it was mainly just us 4. My mom. For a while we had I had a step pop, but my mom did it by herself for a while. Single parent, working hard. Supporting the kids. We all was good in school. She made sure we all attended school every day. We all got good grades and stuff like that. We all grew up to be some good kids.
Yeah. So you're a good kid and what got you into boxing? How old were you when you got into boxing? Were you older when you got into boxing?
24 years. I was 24 years old when I started boxing.
So how'd you get to it? Was that? Did you play any sports growing up, or was that the?
Yeah, first? I played just about all sports. Coming from the hood, you good at everything.
Yeah.
So fighting was one of the things I was always good at anyway. But I started boxing at 24. Just out of competitiveness. And just wanting to do certain things, wanting to succeed in life, like when you come from where I come from, it ain't that many ways to succeed. Like, our minds is kind of short. Our imagination takes us far, but the effort towards our imagination is kind of short. So therefore, we only see ways of being sports or entertainment as a way of success. I had architecture dreams that I wanted to be an architect, but the amount of years in school, kind of scared me away. On top of me, wasting all my time trying to be a football player. Mm-hmm. So I came to a point where it was like, look, I can't be none of those things that I set out to be. And boxing was like right there. Started training. Within 5 months, I made a stamp. In a boxing career already. So it was something I had to stick with. I was in too deep already in 5 months.
Yeah, we see it a lot now in the sport of boxing. You see a lot of guys starting out late and they actually do great, like Sergio Martinez, and there's a lot of others too. But did you grow up watching boxing?
I grew up watching boxing. All the famous fighters. All the Holyfield, Tyson. Roy Jones and Hopkins, fighters like that, but like not actually, paying attention to boxing the way as though, you would pay attention to like up and coming boxers. Like we only knew of the boxers that was good and that was at their prime, the ones who we seen the most.
Mm-hmm. And tell me about the first time you walked in a gym. What gym was it and what'd you see?
I walked in the ABC Rec Center. I've been in that rec center forever, because, the rec center is around the way, mm-hmm. and that was somewhere that I played football at, like it was a recreation center. We did everything in there, and I was there all these years, and I would always, walk down and look at the people boxing, but it didn't have no interest in me the whole time. Every time I walked down there, it was like nothing to me, just to look at it. Like I didn't have no interest at all until one day, I seen a group of people, crowding around in there. They was doing some registrations for a tournament. I think it was the Golden Glove tournament or something like that, and everybody was doing a registration, and I was always cool with my trainer now, which is Bryant Jennings. I was always cool with him on another note. But I asked him, I said, "What's this for?" He said, "It's for the Golden Gloves." And I said, "How old you got to be to sign up?" And what you got to do to sign up? He said, "Just to just come in the gym." And that was December 28th. That was like December 27th. Was December 28th, and I still had time left, and I was like, "Can I train now? Can I come? Can I work out now?" Because like I'm a competitive person. I do everything crazy. I do everything to the fullest. Like so, I wound up training. He told me to do 45 minutes on the bag, and I didn't know that the bag was that hard to work with. So I actually did it. I actually did it, and he was surprised. And I had a lot of technique was there. Of course, I looked at green. It was my first time actually hitting the bag, but ever since then it was on and popping. I came January the next that next year after the holidays and stuff like that. Worked for 4 months straight. I had my first fight January 31st, and then the second fight I turned open class. For the experienced guy. Third fight I fought the former #1 amateur in the world. I beat him to go on to the Golden Glove Nationals. And I went over to the Golden Glove National Finals. I thought I beat that, but it was 5 months in, and we didn't care. We was like, we happy just to be here. And from there on, it took off.
And tell me about Fred Jennings Sr. What makes you guys mesh? What makes you guys?
Fred Jennings is he's a lot like myself. He's kind of a perfectionist, but he's also bossy, and he also authoritative, and he knows what he's doing in the game. And I think that we link well so together, because I'm pretty much the same way, and I know what it takes to be a good athlete, and he knows what it takes to be a good boxer. So you mix that together, and there you have a great individual, a great boxer. And I'm a good person, on the inside and on the outside, inside of boxing, outside of boxing. And only thing I needed was somebody like him, that was experienced, that was willing to work, that knew about the game, that could teach me a lot, and could show me the way. And I was his gift, to become like an athlete, to come to the gym, listen to everything you say, run when you're supposed to, eat right, live right. It was just a match made in heaven right there.
And you made it all the way to the finals of the 2009 PAL Nationals, and you lost to Lenroy Thompson, and you made it to the finals of the U.S. National Gold Gloves, and you lost to the same guy. What do you think of when you hear the name Lenroy Thompson? Make you mad?
Yeah. Nah. He actually, none of those losses were physical. And that was the beginning of my career, so it wasn't really too much for me. The first time I felt as though I won, but if I would have knew what I actually was fighting for, I probably would have done better. Because like I said, we just was out there, and we just was fighting. We just was like, all right, but I didn't know how great Golden Gloves was. I only had 5 months in it, so I didn't even really love the game. Didn't respect it enough, but I still think I did do well enough to win. But of course, I wasn't the favorite, so I didn't win. But the second time, we was under the point system, and it was kind of like I was always kind of frustrated. And then he was the person Leroy was the person that could easily get you frustrated. You know, because he moved all the time and he'd be running and, you know, looking like he's falling and all this awkward on top of being a southpaw. So, you know, but it was never physical. It was just all point. But, you know, I don't look at the fact that, you know, that a person like him, you know, can make me mad when I hear his name. We actually cool right now. That's my man.
Well, so you moved right on, and you only had 17 fights as an amateur. Pretty incredible. And what made you decide to? Is that right? Did you have 17 fights?
Yeah, I had 17 fights. I was 13-4 on record.
Yeah.
But 14-3 officially. And my other loss was to Javier Torres, and that was definitely a point system.
Mm-hmm.
And I always had a pro style, always. To where, though, you know, a little slow start in the first couple rounds, and, you know, then you start picking it up and start dominating. Put the arm right there. Yeah, right at the second stop sign. Yeah, I started. You know, I always had a pro style. So, you know, when you're in the amateur, you know, you got to fight from round 1 to round 3, and, you know. By round 3, I was just getting adjusted and, you know, just figuring them guys out.
Yeah, so that's why you turned pro. You just wanted to go where it suited you best then.
Yeah.
Do you remember who you fought in your first fight and what the result was and where it was held?
My first fight, I don't remember who it was. I think his name was Jose something, but it was at Front Street Gym. And, of course, I won. That was January 31st, 2009. That was my first fight. That's 31 days in the gym.
Yeah, his name was Zeffirino Albino.
No, that's my first pro fight.
Yeah, that's what I meant. My bad.
Oh, yeah. My first pro fight was Zeffirino. I was in all my pro fights. That was Zeffirino Albino. He was actually a former sparring partner of mine. Well, I used to get him ready for his fight. You know, the first time around, you know, it was the first fight, and, you know, I wanted just to get the feel of the professional ring, and, you know, the whole 9 yards of that. Yeah, it went 4 rounds. I definitely could have stopped him, but, you know, I wanted to, you know, practice on, you know, getting used to boxing because I knew how fast I wanted to move.
Mm-hmm. And your second fight, you fought. I'm sorry, I thought you were done then. My bad.
It was, you know, that took place at the time. It was called. It wasn't the Alhambra Arena. It was. I forget the other name, but that's where it was at.
How'd you feel after that first pro win? How'd it feel fighting without that?
I was good. I felt better for the fact that, all right, I'm pro now.
Mm-hmm.
But it really didn't do nothing for me as a win, as far as like an accomplishment against who I fought, because I already knew that, you know, I can. You know, what I could do to him. Mm-hmm. But, you know, he lasted 4 rounds, you know, for the sake of, you know, me actually, you know, trying to get a feel of the boxing game and not really trying to knock him out, even though I knew I could have.
How'd you feel not wearing the headgear and the big gloves for this fight? Feel better? Feel more like you?
Well, the smaller gloves, I really don't see a difference in it. But, you know, the headgear is definitely a little better. I wasn't really used to the headgear because I wasn't really fighting that long anyway. So I was fighting more in the streets longer than I was fighting, you know, amateur.
Mm-hmm.
So I was more used to, you know, no headgear and stuff like that anyway. But, you know, it wasn't that tough of a conversion. It really didn't make a difference.
In your second fight, you fought Joe Bolden at a Mecca, no longer there. What's it like fighting at the Blue Horizon?
Yeah, Blue Horizon was definitely good. I'm glad I fought there at least one time. Yeah, it was actually against New York's John Bolden.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was also 1-0. He had 1 knockout. And, you know, I went in there, you know, I fought, you know, I was trying to, he was a big guy. And, you know, I'm still coming around, still green. But, you know, I definitely got the knockout, you know, in the 3rd round. He was out cold for a long time.
And what'd you think about that? Were you nervous when he hit the floor?
No, I wasn't nervous. I seen people hit the floor plenty of times. Stop, Evan. I seen people hit the floor plenty of times. So, no, I wasn't nervous.
You didn't get worried?
It actually, you know, I actually fueled my fire, you know, because I was, you know, more like a fiery person. Like, yeah, like, you know.
Yeah, man. And who named you Bye Bye? Who started calling you?
My nickname is BY. It stood for Big Young Boy when I was in high school. So Bye Bye actually stood for a whole lot of different meanings. You know, actually what it is actually bye bye, like goodbye. And then, you know, by any means, you know, we set out to win. That's the reason why the E is off. The E is off for the fact that, you know, it has different meanings, and BY was actually my name. So that's why we just took the E off, and then we wanted to be different anyway.
Yeah, there's not many gyms in Philadelphia as there used to be, and you start seeing shrines like the Blue Horizon disappear all over the country. How can we keep Philadelphia kids wanting to get involved in the sport if the gyms and the buildings are closing down?
People like, we can't do nothing about the buildings, but, you know, to get them involved in the sport, you got people like me, people, you know, other people that's well known. You know, once they get to a certain point in their career, the only thing they got to do is reach back and let kids know that, there's life in boxing and stuff like that. You know, just like being like a big role model such as Floyd. You figure if Floyd come to Philly, you know, a whole lot of times to go around all the schools, there's definitely going to be people that want to box. So I'm from here. I feel as though that's going to be my job. That's my task. And if I want people to continue to box and stuff like that, then I can encourage the youth to do that.
You talked a lot about how tough the streets were growing up for you. What do you think about the murder rate this year?
The murder rate is something that, you know, that I really don't even pay attention to because of the fact that it's been happening, and, you know, it's been the same for so long. The only difference is I don't watch the news to even see of it that much, so I can't really tell the difference or the increase. But to me, it's been seeming like, you know, the same rate.
And then in your career, you fought Zeffirino Albino again. Why'd you beat him when you won every round in the first fight? Why'd you need that rematch?
Because we had another fight lined up, and that didn't fall through, and Zeff was right there again.
Well, you did better.
Yeah, we did some training, and, you know, we had a fight lined up, and you know, the guy, it didn't fall through, so we was actually searching for another fight, and we did what we had to do. We took anybody, and he was willing to fight again. I was like, hey, I beat him once, and, you know, no problem.
And you stopped him in the first round this time, so did way better. Yeah. You scored a 4-round decision over Bernell Stort, and second round stoppage over Randy Smith, and you fought Teron Johnson. You fought him twice too?
Yeah, I fought him twice because he felt as though that he could beat me. I was kind of weak because I was 5 days off the flu, and I still beat him unanimously. And then, you know, the second time that I fought him, yeah, I almost knocked him out. I could have knocked him out if I would have start working earlier in the round. But, you know, when I had him knocked down, you know, the time had expired in the round, so he made it out. But other than that, yeah, that's the reason why I fought him twice, because he felt as though he could beat me.
Yeah, and that fight was actually at the Mandalay Bay on the undercard of Zab Judah and Amir Khan. What was it like fighting on a card? What was it like fighting on a card of that magnitude for the first time?
Oh man, fighting in Vegas, period. You know, you immediately celebritize. You know, being where you fought that night. The atmosphere is crazy. The fans is crazy. It's at a whole different level once you fight in Vegas.
You get nervous? You didn't have many fights?
I never got nervous ever in no fights.
No, wow, man. Nerves, just blood is.
I'm more nervous when I'm choosing fighters.
Ice in your veins. And you won another decision over Teron Johnson, but what happened in the second fight? You knocked him down, and you knocked him down in the fourth round. And did you think he was going to get up? Yeah. I thought as though he was going to get up because I heard he fell pretty hard.
I hit him a lot of times, but if it was more time in the round, then that would have been it for him.
Yeah, a couple wins.
You know, as you can see all my fights, I like to pretty much pace myself and not really get too much into it because I don't have a fear of tiring out, but I just don't want to be that tiring out fighter.
After a couple more wins, you're not even scheduled to fight, and then Eddie Chambers had to pull out of his fight with Lakahovic, and you and you and Maurice take the fight on less than a week's notice for a title, and it's televised to boot. No nerves there either. You just take the fight and fight Maurice Byarm.
Say that again?
No added nerves when you just have to take the fight?
No, not at all. No added nervousness or nothing. Because I was ready. I actually called Russell. I told my trainer to call Russell and tell him that, we want that.
Mm-hmm.
He was going to originally fight Kovic then. Say, we want that. But it was my first 10 round. I know how hard I train. I know I could go 10 rounds. And it was 5 days notice. So, I wasn't, I was just about to get some leg, before I got that call, before I made that decision. So, that's the type of office training that I was. I wasn't really in training, but I still was in shape. I don't drink, I don't smoke. And, I train, I train, daily, lightly when I don't have a fight. So I figured, I got 5 days, push myself, and I could get myself to that point. So I had no problem with choosing that fight.
And you're fighting for the vacant Pennsylvania State Heavyweight Championship. What was the fight like?
The fight was kind of tough, being though once again I didn't want to tire out. Hold on. The fight was alright because I didn't want to tire out, and then I was want to make sure I get through these 10 rounds. Then for the fact that him being a southpaw, me taking that on 5 days notice, it didn't really play a part. But I could have did other things. Like if he was a right-hander, then I think I would have had him out of here. But I had to really use my brain. Really just think the whole fight the whole way through, and just adjust to that opposite side.
And it's not for a world title, but it's still a title. How'd you feel about after it was over and you're holding your belt for the first time? What did it feel like?
I felt happy, but then right afterwards, I got right back on my John. So as though I was like, because I only look at the world title as an accomplishment. So any other title to me is just a title. So.
And that was the first time you're going 10 rounds. How'd you feel?
I felt that. Everybody. Give it to me. I'm sorry, my son is getting on the sheet.
I hear you.
A lot of people was more happy for me than I was. I was happy that I won the fight, that I still was undefeated, and that I actually fought on TV. So, go play with heaven. So I actually fought on TV. So everything was, it was good. It was good while it lasted in the moment, but I knew I wanted to get right back in there. So, and I knew what my goal was. My goal was, to be the heavyweight champion of the world. So I'm like, all right, I gotta, not dwell on this accomplishment, and get back on my journey.
And your next fight's against Sergey Lakahovic. How confident in yourself are you going into that fight? You only had 17 fights as an amateur, only 12 as a pro, and he had more knockouts than you had wins. He's the former WBO heavyweight champ. Why did you fight him at that stage in your career?
Because I knew where I could take myself to, and I just didn't fear nobody at all. And if I was to lose, then I wouldn't. Like even if I was to lose today or tomorrow, I wouldn't really downgrade myself as a fighter or whatever. I'll just go back in there and work harder to achieve my next goal. But I was comfortable going in there with him. Because I just see he didn't have, the athleticism that I have. Everybody who trains in my gym knows exactly what I'm capable of doing. I'm way more capable of doing the things that I do in a fight. So I've yet to, be in deep trouble to where though I pull out some of my tricks and do more things and and then like with the opponents, I didn't really have an opponent that was like way more skilled than me to where though they can outshine me. So I was real comfortable in that, knowing that he couldn't mess with me. He couldn't touch me at all.
And Sergey's trained by the great Eddie Mustafa Muhammad. Did he say anything to you after the fight was over?
No, none of them said nothing. They didn't stick around at all. They actually got right out of there. They left.
Wow. So what's that do for your confidence to beat a guy who's been to the top or pretty close at least? What's that do for
Once
you?
again,
You're just
my
hungry.
confidence level, once again, my confidence level stayed the same because I was overconfident to begin with. So it didn't do nothing but work its way up to reality. Because I always knew what type of fighter I thought I was, and within every fight, I just proved myself that I am that type of fighter.
And less than 3 months later, you're right back in the ring, not taking any breaks. Tell me about the Steve Collins fight.
The Steve Collins fight was I was kind of like, I wasn't nervous in that fight at all, but I was thinking like, well, man, this just seemed too good to be true. Like, I'm expected to win against the person that's 25-1, young guy with 18 knockout. But once he lost the draw, that really kind of threw me through a loop right there, because I'm thinking, all right, maybe he fought a draw on purpose, for me to get off of my, for me to lose focus. Get out of the car. Let's go. Come on, mate. for me to lose focus, but I mean, so I actually thought he had more. I actually thought he had more for me, and evidently he didn't. But in the fight, I felt as though that he could have done more to me. But I mean, I'm the type of fighter that fights when I have to fight, and I do only what I have to do to get the win. I don't want to do nothing extra. Don't want to be too hyped. Don't want to be too wild. So I was just fighting off of his fight.
Mm-hmm. And you hurt him pretty bad with a body shot. Wasn't called for you, the knockdown, but do you work on body shots? Is that one of your...
Oh, yeah, I work on body shots. They actually, the one in the 10th round that they called a low blow, that was not a low blow. I watched that a couple times, but, I won every round. I dominated, crazy, and, I just was like, all right, I don't care. At least I won every round. I still looked at and, I showed that I can go the rounds and that I can be mobile, and that I'm a force to be reckoned with.
And then you became the new USBA champion in that fight, so you're moving on up, and you fought just last Saturday.
Now that one pretty much it felt a little better than just the Pennsylvania state title. Yeah, of course. Like Pennsylvania, I didn't want to be bragging about no state title. I'm like, we working with the world, but the USBA title, it really was something good. That kind of shoots you all the way up to the top 10 in the United States, and IBF ranking, and all that. So it really, plus once again, it was on national TV, and I mean it was real good. I felt a little happy once again. I had my little time to celebrate, which was probably like 2 days, and then I got right back to the gym, and I got right back on my journey.
You love staying busy, and you fought just last Saturday. You fought Chris Koval, another quick one. Tell me about that one.
Yeah, well, the fight lasted 35 seconds. I just seen something immediately. When he came out, he was flinching every time I threw the jab. I didn't even have to do much, but I just see that he wasn't in position to throw any power punches at that time. So I just threw my first two, and he got caught with both of them.
Poor guy, out. And then that same day, Vitaly Klitschko fought, defended his title. What do you think of Vitaly Klitschko? How good is he?
I didn't see that fight, but I think him and his brother are great fighters. They had a great run. They got a great legacy. They're definitely Hall of Famers. Definitely one of the best, two of the best heavyweights that ever walked the face of the earth. I mean, they did hold down the title for quite some time. So you got to give them that credit. But I think at the end of the road, and I think majority of the time that they held the title was because of lack of talent. America's getting lazy. Other guys getting lazy, and these guys are just old-fashioned fighters. But a person who can beat them would be another old-fashioned fighter, such as myself. Mm-hmm. So I really feel as though that I had what it takes to beat them. I had the willpower to beat them. I had the heart to beat them. I had the athleticism to be in there with them guys. I had the power, to be able to, KO them if they get caught the right way. there's no other thing other than, experience, what people keep saying, which I get tired of. Experience is the only thing that, that's black. But everything else is like on a, it's on a close scale. I am capable of doing that, and I believe that, if I get that chance, I'll show that I am capable, even if I don't succeed the first time around. They'll say that, well, if he could have just did that, he probably would have got him out of there. It won't look like any other the guys who look like they never even had a chance to even win in a fight with them. I can do way better than any of their last opponents, their last 4 opponents. That's why when they say they don't think I'm ready, and I just look at them like, well, you obviously thought that the guy who they put him in there was ready, and I just look at it like it's just politics, but I know I got to wait my turn.
Yeah, you're starting to get more mention, though. I saw your picture up there on HBO on Saturday night. They mentioned you in the top 4 U.S.-born heavyweights. How'd that make you feel to get that attention?
They made me feel great, because you know what? I consider myself better than all 4 of those guys. Only guy who I wouldn't. I mean, being as though Ariola fought for the title before. And he has been around longer, and he's a ex-contender. I will put myself second to him. But far as the other 2 guys, I consider myself the better prospect, and I think a lot of people would agree, because I have fought good opposition. I've showed good skill. Not saying that those guys are not talented. Not saying that those guys aren't dangerous. They're both good guys, but I just feel as though that I'm the better person. I'm the better all-around boxer. Like when people mention boxers nowadays, they always will say pound for pound. And, pound for pound means all attributes, all, defense, offense, everything in a boxer. And I should be considered the best heavyweight in America, pound for pound.
Yeah, the other 2 guys on the list, there was Chris Ariola and yourself, and Seth Mitchell and Deontay Wilder made the list, too. What do you think of the young overseas talent like Tyson Fury and David Price and Mariusz Wach about to fight Vladimir Klitschko? You watch them at all? You YouTube them?
No. I watched a couple fights of Tyson Fury. They're just like us 4 in America, but over there the boxing is better, so it would definitely seem that they're more talented than us and that they can handle, that they can do much better than us. But I mean, I could separate myself from just about everybody and say, well, I'm nothing like none of you guys. I feel as though I'm a greater athlete, and I'm a more dedicated person than just about all of them. And I only say that because I know how hard I want it. I always speak from a humble point of view, but I know my confidence level is just. It's only there because I do everything that's right. If you do everything that's right, you expect the best outcome, the best result. If you cheat on the game, then of course you ain't gonna talk too much because you know that you cheated, and you know that the best outcome may not become because you cheated. But I do everything right. Everything seems to be going well. It's nothing too wrong, nothing too obvious. I just think everything's going right. So that's the reason why I always say that I feel as though I'm better than these guys. These guys might have attributes that's better than me. Like, I'm not the most powerful person there, so I take that. But, my defense is pretty good. Offense is pretty good. My conditioning as well. And I bring a lot to the boxing table.
Yeah, you do. And do you watch non-heavyweights, or do you just keep your eyes on the people you might be in the ring with? What do you think of Andre Ward and Chad Dawson? Did you watch the fight?
I love Andre Ward as a boxer. I think he's a perfectionist. I think he's a prime example of a good boxer. That's who I pat myself behind him in a lot of ways. As far as the dedication and the focus. And I would consider myself a heavyweight Andre Ward or a heavyweight Mayweather.
That's a great.
Them guys don't play when it comes time to train.
No, they don't. And what do you think of Chavez Martinez coming up?
I like Chavez over Martinez. I actually like Martinez better as a boxer. But for this fight, I think I will go with Chavez. Chavez is the more younger person. But Martinez is definitely dangerous. Martinez is more athletic. But Chavez seems to be going on a nice little run. He is a solid boxer. He's pretty good, and I have the edge for Chavez on this fight.
And what do you think about Canelo Josecito?
I like Canelo. Canelo's definitely good. He always gives those 3 extra punches, which always makes a difference. People always expect the first 3, but he'll give you 3 more when you least expect it. So that's one reason why he's been able to be so dominant, because he throws because he keeps coming back with more and more punches.
Mm-hmm. And it could be an interesting year coming up for you. What do you, if it was up to you, what would you have next in your career? What do you want?
What would I have next? I would have one more fight, before the end of the year, and then I'll be ready for Klitschko. I'll be ready for him right now, but planning everything out correctly. One more fight for the end of the year, 2013. It's whatever with whoever.
And everyone's starting to know the name, and you're building new fans real quick. How can your fans reach out to you and show you love? Are you on Twitter?
Yes, I'm on Twitter at BY Jennings. I'm on Facebook at Bryant Jennings, and I'm on Instagram at BY Jennings. Mm-hmm. And you can also check me out at my website, eliteclass.com, class with a K.
Mm-hmm. All right. Brian, bye-bye Jennings. Thanks for your time, my man. Appreciate it.
All right, you're welcome. All right, thank you, guys.